everyone. Okay, so yeah, in a history repeats itself sort of way, the chapter begins exactly how the last time the Eden Zero crew's adventure on Red Cave began, with the crew kind of enjoying their time on the beach, with a few obvious differences, like all the starshines being gathered together, with Homura and Valkyrie like kind of sparring now, and just even small stuff like Jin and Clean just enjoying themselves, or Laguna being a total buzzkill. Like stuff like this does feel like wish fulfillment in the best ways, as it's brought everyone together for this moment. Which, yeah, if you've seen my review of the recent episode of the anime, I'm convinced more than ever now that the timing of that episode was planned to align with last week's chapter, and especially this one. I know Mashima had his hands on planning that shit. I just know he did. But okay, cursory details aside, the major thing to talk about with this portion of the chapter is the conversation between Rebecca and Hermit, where they discover that one of the new Irration Seis Galactica, Joker Helix's name, has been kind of erased from public knowledge. Like, it's nowhere on the internet. And immediately upon knowing that, Professor Weisz pops into Rebecca's thoughts, which again, Mashima, you sneaky bastard, I know what you're doing, motherfucker. Do not even try to downplay that shit with me. Professor Weisz is Joker Helix. There's no other way to interpret that shit. Which not only now adds to how much more personal the stakes are going to become in this, but honestly, it would add credence to another theory a commenter posted on my review of last week's chapter, which is that Justice is not only Lightning Law, but there's also a possibility that Elsie is actually the new God Agnoella. And honestly, it would make sense in context of adding that more personal touch to the stakes. But if that is the case, then it makes me wonder even more just what kind of dynamic Mashima is shooting for here. Is that they're both purely evil now, or is a little bit more going on than what's on the surface? Like, is one only a member of the Irration Seis Interstellar as sort of a deep cover thing in order to save the other? Or like, yeah, what's the deal here? But like, it kind of just adds questions on top of questions, I guess you could say right now for me. And I'm kind of going with that. I'm kind of going with with at least one of them is probably under deep cover. Probably Justice, I'd say, because it would kind of be kind of poetic if Elsie actually did become a real villain, honestly, in some ways. With that said, though, let's talk about the big reveals at the end of the chapter, which is we get reintroduced to Noah and Nadia, the former of which is revealed to be the latter of which is revealed to be the Union Army's director of operations in the Alley Cosmos, which honestly does make me wonder how much of that is true in the case of the universe we know. Because obviously the Nadia we know made it clear she was simply just the guardian of the Mother Beacon. But could it be possible that she was maybe also tied in some way to basically the Union Army? Maybe not even the former director of operations, but just like some kind of high-ranking official within the Union Army at the time in our world, because her circumstances at the time. Because when you look at her circumstances at the time, she would no longer properly serve in any kind of role for the government because of how like battered and broken she had become, how decommissioned she looked. I mean, again, I am heavily theory crafting on this, mind you, but given the reveal we got back during the Leonard War of Cure, like orchestrating all the major events and players in the series, it would make sense the only way he could do that without being caught was to take Nadia out of the picture. Because at that point, the only threat to him would be Noah, but Noah can't detect or track robots with God's eyes. So, like, in that sense, the only one who would be a threat to him would be Nadia, I think. Like, it would also kind of make sense how the Union Army's presence within Alley was so late to the party, as it were. Again, all theories on my part, but certain things do start to add up and start to make a little bit more sense in context of this reveal. Again, I don't know how much of any involvement our Nadia actually had with the government at the time, but I don't know, things like this do start to connect a little bit more in my mind. I don't have anything to actually say it's true, but it just feels like it might be true here. Moving on from Nadia, though, obviously we're reunited with Noah, and yeah, it kind of figures. Anytime there's a big plot development on the side of the government, usually Noah's involved in some way. Hell, Amira has become the walking, talking calling card for Noah's involvement in anything, but now with him revealed to not be the director of the intelligence agency in this world, but rather be the director the director of operations in the Sakura cosmos, now it begs the question of how much does he know? Does the man know? And even more so, how can he help? Because already this feels like Mashima's way of kind of fast tracking them to find Rachel. Like, because he more than anyone would pretty much know where to find her and how to get there. Even everything just feels like that's kind of what this is perfectly setting up here. It's just a matter of what else he has to talk about, I guess. He may know something about. I guess he may know something about one as well, so it'll be interesting to see what he knows on that front as well. With all that said, not much else to talk about. It's a very straightforward chapter of our hero just having fun on Red Cave before reuniting with Nadia and Noah. Although one moment I do want to focus on is the sparring match between Homer and Valkyrie, because while obviously it's very fan servicey, we gotta acknowledge the fact that the fight between them technically ended in a draw, showing that, yeah, Homer is just as powerful, maybe even slightly more so than Valkyrie at this point, which can be interpreted several different ways with that, but to me, it's another worrying sign that just like in our universe, Valkyrie might still be destined to die in Universe Zero. Like, I don't want to believe Mashima's gonna kill her second time, but in the same vein that Homer's development has reached a point where she has become a true successor to Valkyrie's legacy, but Homer's development has kind of reached a point where she has become a true successor to Valkyrie's legacy. And I remember there was a comment from Mashima a long time ago where he said he only kills characters when he feels they serve their purpose within the story he's telling, or something to that effect. And with Homura being as strong as she is now, there's honestly only so little Valkyrie can probably teach her anymore. So yeah, I hate to retread old ground, but if any of the Starshines are to die after all is said and done, it's likely going to be Valkyrie, because when you kind of get down to it, I think the one reason Mashima did bring Valkyrie back, I think, was to pretty much give Homura the pretty much time. Was to give Homura the pretty much time she never got to have, but by reuniting with Valkyrie. Like the last time Homer reunited with Valkyrie, she was already dead. But this has given her that moment to finally be reunited with her properly and just give her time to spend with her. But now that they have spent that time, is she still destined to die? That's the big thing here about it. It feels kind of perfectly set up for that. Moving slightly away from that though, I just love the scene between Jin, Clean, and Pino. It shows that for however much all three of these characters have suffered, they have managed to find their own piece of happiness now, and really that goes for everyone on the crew, but especially these three who have suffered a lot. It's nice to see them just kind of have this moment of happiness for themselves and just smile, be happy, enjoy life kind of thing. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Me signing off. Later, everyone.